When this was happening, when I was writing it, I could feel that there was a shift happening. The Georgia that went out and voted and that flipped the Senate is not the Georgia in the 60s or the 50s. This is a new era. You know, quite frankly, the people, we're not taking no shit. The people are not taking shit.
If the power of the right to vote was truly made available to everyone in America, it would change the future of this nation.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Janelle Monáe, and I am the artist, human, daughter, and songwriter for Turntables, which is featured in the documentary film All In, The Fight for Democracy.
What about the title, Turntables? I love that because there's so much to that.
Turntables, whew, the tables are turning. The rooster has come home to roost. When you think about all those folks who stood in line to cast their vote, who said, I don't care if it takes me 24 hours to cast my vote, I'm not moving. You realize that, and I'm just going to use Georgia, for example, and not just Georgia, but around the world, people were standing in line to cast their vote, to flex their power, to remind politicians that we, the people, hold the power. You work for us. We all feel that. We feel that there's an uprising that is happening that was bigger than it was in 2019, bigger than what it even is in 2020.
The table's about to turn. I said the table's about to turn. Them tables about to turn. Yeah. Listen.
Turntables was the first song in 2020 that I actually wrote in the pandemic. And I have to give a lot of credit to the incomparable Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams, Fair Fight, all the grassroots organizations who really did help save this democracy, who really flipped the Senate and turned Georgia blue. And they've been fighting against voter suppression for quite some time. And that's what the song was inspired by, the film All In, The Fight for Democracy.
I believe in our democracy. I believe in our nation. And I think our strongest patriotism is a patriotism that says that every voice matters and that every vote counts and that we will do everything in our power to make it so.
When I got the call from Stacey Abrams and directors Liz and Lisa, I was in kind of survival mode because with this pandemic, things were getting canceled. People were, really going through it financially. I was trying to figure out how I was going to help feed people in the community. People were in the hospital, people were dying, and we're still in the pandemic right now. And then the November election hadn't even happened yet. So I didn't know if this country was really going to vote in or if they were going to, through voter suppression, steal the election. And, if the Trump administration was going to have another 4 years, we just didn't know. It was so much up in the air. And I got a call from Stacey Abrams. I had voted for her when she was running for governor in Georgia. And we all saw how Brian Kemp, through voter suppression, stole that election from Stacey. And I just said, if you ever need me, Stacey, call me. And she did. And so she, along with Liz and Lisa, reached out to me and they said, hey, listen, it would be an honor if you write an original song for our film and just watch it, let us know. We'd love to have you. And so I watched a rough cut. And at that time, I was like, I don't feel like I have it in me. After I finished watching it though, I was like, there's no way that I can say no. And I said, if I can contribute, because that's what it's going to have to take, all hands on deck. If I can contribute a song in the form of energy that gives more power to the revolutionaries leading the movement. I'm not leading the movement. It's the Staceys, it's the grassroots, it's those who are at the helm of Black Lives Matter movement. It's those folks with their boots on the ground every single day. All I wanted to do was give energy and give more power when folks are feeling powerless and when they need more encouragement in the middle of feeling emotionally fatigued in the fight that we're in.
We kicking out the old regime, liberation, elevation, education. I said, America, use a lie, but the whole world about to testify.
I always try to start out with honesty. Where am I at? And I think those opening lyrics really did give you a setup of what is going on, not just with me, but with millions of folks. Every day we're waking up and we're getting news that here's another way that they're trying to take away our power. Here's another way that they're trying to systemically oppress already marginalized people, people that look like me, people that I love and I care about. And it's like, you have to decide how you're going to fight. Sometimes radical self-care and radical self-love is a form of fighting back. And sometimes that looks like, writing every single day to Congress, writing every single day to your local elected officials, and trying to figure out ways to fight back in that way. And so for me, with music in general, it captures a moment in our history. That's really what it is. Me trying to set up the world that we're living in and how we are going to stay balanced and centered enough to fight back, to reclaim our power.
The vote matters.
You belong. You have value.
When, Nate Wonder and I, who I have to give so much credit to, because what really inspired me to even speak in the way that I'm speaking on this album was listening to the different musical beds that he had. He went in the studio after we watched the rough cut of the film, and he had 3 musical beds ready for me to listen to, and the one that you hear now is what moved me first.
It's light about to meet your match. You fuck up the kitchen, then you should do the dishes.
When we were working on this version, we started out with drums, and so he went to play drums, and we were we wanted to feel like marches. We wanted to feel like that people are marching through the streets all the way up to government, all the way up, telling folks that we the people demand better. What does that sound like? And so that's when you hear the drums, how they sound, that's why they sound like that.
I've been flipping through my timeline, trying to get my mind right.
I knew that I wanted space to say what I needed to say. And when we got finished with it, it moved us. So I said, okay, I'm moved. So when I sent it in, I was like, oh my goodness, they're gonna have notes, because Stacey is someone, who's in the public eye. And when you're dealing with folks who are working in that world, they're scrutinized. Everything they say, oh, Stacey did this, oh, she did that. And so I thought that I was gonna have to change to make sure that they didn't try to come after her. But one of the things that we talk about now is that this represents the truth, and neither of us was interested in diluting the truth.